Hello there, my friends, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason. Today, what I've got for you is what I'm sure will be an interesting game, to say the very least, of Beyond All Reason. As you may have known, if you're a well-attuned fan of Beyond All Reason, you may have noticed already that we are playing on a map that goes by the name of Greenest Fields. Now, the interesting thing about Greenest Fields, as I'm sure I've spoiled in the screenshot there, is that there's no metal extractor. So all of your economy comes out of wind turbines, solar panels, and other fusion sources of energy. Any way that you can produce energy to turn it into metal is the only way that you can make economy on this map. So I'm excited to see exactly what we have going down between these two teams right here on this very funky map. Spawning on the southern side, representing the blue team with two different commanders right here. Looks like somebody left the game and they just decided to take one. That's all right, that works. Goes by the name of Jamakis, hailing with 41 true skill and some silver bars as well. Gonna be showing us what he's got on this very unconventional map. One of those maps that you hardly ever get practice for, yeah. Unless you're very familiar with eco-scaling. Definitely a tricky one to, definitely a tricky one to get used to say the very least. Not that you'd have to get used to it unless you're a freak like me and you enjoy playing on some of the stranger maps. If you are, by the way, I always like to take a second to advertise the stream on these videos. Tuesdays and Saturdays, 12 to 4 PDT. Always happy to invite anybody and everybody onto that stream so that we can spend some time enjoying some of the more unique features that Beyond a Reason has to offer. Anyways, across the map here, we've been staring at him for a little while here. The red commander goes by the name of Xenodragon. 30 true skill and hailing from Canada. Going to be trying to show us what he's got here. Boy, that was a butchery of an accent, huh? And an air lab is what I was trying to get to eventually right there. Wind speed, absolutely abandoning all hope, ye who enter here right now. These players are all suffering from a terrible, terrible drought of the wind. Going to mean that at the very least, metal production falls quite significantly here as well. This entire map hinges around reclaim and energy production. If you can get those two things locked down, then you're going to be in a fabulous spot. You can see already the blue commander Jamakis here has sent out a resbot to eat up all of the juicy, juicy rocks that are over here. And their valuable minerals contained therein. Going to be quite valuable, yeah. Now the reason you might be going for an early T1 air lab right here is exactly what we've seen spelled out right here. Rushing out early bomber to kill their eco. It's a very prominent strategy and a very powerful strategy. However, usually you do that as a Cortex commander, because obviously that Cortex whirlwind bomber is quite a bit better than the Armada counterpart. Now it seems little, but every pawn that goes down right here can be reclaimed, can be resurrected, can be utilized once more in the army of the red. So it is actually fairly important that we don't just randomly lose these things. Pawn running by on the right-hand side will be discovered over here, so I feel like it'll be cleaned up. Might be able to get by though. Yeah, you know what? Just fast enough to squeak by. Oh no. And this is the problem with this map. So as soon as a single unit manages to find some economy and do some damage to it, you lose so much in the blink of an eye if it's not all perfectly spaced out. Just like that. Wind turbines, energy converters, all the rest of it. Essentially the entire economy right here for the Maroon Commander will be blown to smithereens. Now luckily a couple of those wind turbines stay up and running. Those beautiful Legion turbines. Just take a second to appreciate those as we zip across the map right here to the Cyan Commander, who's decided to go into vehicles, which is quite interesting considering how expensive vehicles are going to be. Very high metal cost, and again, the map with no metal extractors. Going to be very difficult to field this army, but I suppose as long as most of these tanks survive and manage to trade out fairly efficiently, it will be all good. Got to be careful not to lose them to a D-gun, though. That's just metal wasted to space here. I love the walls right here. I think walls make a lot of sense on this map. Usually they're very underutilized, but on this map especially important. You can imagine using those to keep ticks or pawns or anything else out of your base and ruining your entire economy. Yeah, quite powerful indeed. We have a air scout going across the map right here, taking a look at what the bases are positioned around the map and looking like here. Yeah, you know, we're losing these tanks. This is such an efficient trade for the red team because they've gone into the bots, which means they can go for the res bots and get all this back up and running for their color. Yeah, you know what? I think I like this quite a bit better right here for the red team. Single incisor and a couple of ticks make it through as well, but as kickers NZ, maybe New Zealand, going to be keeping it together here. I think that's the New Zealand flag. I could be wrong. I've been wrong about it before, but I think that's the New Zealand flag. Anywho, the blue team, very spaced out here. You'll note immediately. Way, way, way more spaced out than the red team. Kind of taking up the entire map right here, as opposed to the red team, which is all sort of semi-huddled in this corner over here. I wonder if the idea is to, yeah, T3, or, sorry, pardon me, that's a T3. I thought it was going to be a T2, I just misspoke, but it is actually going to be a T3. I guess I saw the T3 lab and misspoke, but yeah, interesting, okay. We've got a T3 rush coming up right here for Cage and the Red Bandits. Trying desperately to get it up and running anyways. We need the fusion reactor up and running first, and the energy converter as well. All very expensive, all very metal dependent, but if we can get it all up and running, it certainly could do some work. What are you doing? A little bit of a Banshee moment right there. Take a little screenshot of that because that's pretty funny. Okay, yeah, figured himself out there, but that was yeah, certainly a bit of a strange interaction. Anywho, I like it. I like the focus right here. We have a plan. We're committing to the plan. And I imagine we're going to sacrifice just about every one of these commanders in order to get there. How much metal would it be in commanders if I just select all of these right here? Yeah, about 10,000 metal, 10,100 to be specific metal in all the commanders that we've got in the backline right here. Certainly enough to pay for a T3 lab. It's possible. Now the problem is paying for it, right? Because the commanders are a huge source of build power, but also they are the source of metal. So as soon as you run out of, you run out of metal, you have to sacrifice a commander, but then you also sacrifice your build power. It means you build the lab slower and slower and slower and slower as the match goes on. Keeping the blue team distracted, though. Over on the other side of the map, we have all these pawns headed on over. Now, these have to take a very efficient fight right here. Cannot lose these units all the way across the map right here because it's just going to mean metal going back to the blue team. Blue team, a lot less focused, yeah. You can see not so interested in working together as cohesively as the red team. In some cases that can work, especially if there's harassment on all sides and you manage to, say for instance, harass with incisors over in the left-hand side and then you manage to flank around the right with a couple of pawns or ticks or something like that. If you continue everybody pitching in their aggression all over the place, that's where the advantage of keeping your plan distinct and isolated from your teammates can come into play, essentially spreading your APM across the enemy. In this case, however, it's basically one engagement. We've got one big battle coming up right here. And all the pink player has to do is feign the engagement and fall back to buy time for the team to get this T3 lab up and running. Yeah, there we go. We're almost done with the T3. Sorry, gonna keep the camera a little more still. Been trying to work on that. Keep the camera movements a little more steady. Incisors moving up on the left-hand side, getting ready for round 2 over here. But again, if we lose these tanks, all that metal just goes back to the orange commander. So is it really efficient to go fight right now? Or do we just want to eco up quite a bit more? We have quite a lot of eco right here for the blue commander. Jamaica says, use that extra commander essentially as a glorified windmill producer, a glorified butler, basically. Just building extra wind turbines wherever he can, and I think that's fair enough, yeah. Using those wind turbines to power up the energy converters and the E-converters, of course, to power up the units and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely a powerful economy. A couple of gunships in the air, it's quite nice. If we don't have any fighters to shoot them down, those gunships can certainly do some damage, especially if they get on top of some of these squishy wind turbines. Bomber's obviously ideal, but gunship's gonna perform just as well over the long run. We do need to see them get some value, though. The gunships were just produced for defense. I don't know if that's going to be valuable enough. Single fighter having a field day blasting these apart, too. The air scout's not going to be worth all too much. I mean, that being said, gunships are also pretty sturdy. Alright, there we go. Nice defense right here from the red commander. T3 lab. Halfway done right now. And we haven't sacrificed a single commander. It's well worth noting. Yeah. Not a single commander has gone down over here. I thought we were going to sacrifice all 4 commanders to get the medal. I guess we're just going for good old-fashioned production. And I suppose that's fair. Across everybody's production value, you probably have about 40 metal per second, which is not the fastest economy in the world. Certainly slower than you would usually want to invest in T3. But if you're going to get T3 up by the, oh, I don't know, 9-minute mark or so, maybe a little later than that, maybe closer to the 10-minute mark, still, insanely fast T3. So very, very nice. Very, very good demonstration of exactly how much work you can actually get done if everybody is singularly focused on a single task. Obviously a rare opportunity that you actually get to take a look at that sort of a thing. The default map layout, let's call it, doesn't particularly cater towards the sort of teamwork playstyle in that degree. Sometimes you can get away with 1 or 2 or maybe 3 players working together, depending on the map. Certainly, Supremismus has some variety available there, and some others as well. Hellas Basin has the opportunity as well. But for the most part, lanes are designated, and they're, well, they're there for a reason. DeBoss, a little bit of trouble right here. Yeah, that flanking damage makes those pawns do extremely high damage. Gunships come in too, and down goes the commander. That is what I'm talking about. That is a beautiful, beautiful engagement right there. That's going to mean a whole bunch of metal going back to the red team. As soon as Don Draper, the 6 true skill, 3 chevron American hero here, walks away from the commander wreckage. My goodness, repulsed by the thought of gaining that much metal and putting it to good use. Sighs and shudders in the face of that much economy, waddles away from it, and leaves it to be reclaimed here by the Orange Commander. At the end of the day, I don't hate it. The Orange Commander, as kicker NZ, has done a phenomenal job of pushing units out on the field and being a thorn in the side of the blue team. So, at least for the time being, it is helping stall for this T3 lab to come up and running. What's the official time report on this? We're at 97% right now, and it looks like we're going to be done, I want to say 10:25. We'll call it 10:25. Razorback production starts right up. All right. Now, the Razorback costs about half the cost of the lab, so we're still not going to that T3 unit, but we are inching our way ever closer right now. Soon as that Razorback hits the field, this whole engagement changes, because the only way you're efficiently going to take that down at this point in the game without other T3 on the blue side is with a D-gun. And obviously, with proper micro and the tremendous amount of T1 out on the field right here across the board, there's no reason why that Razorback should ever be in a position where it's vulnerable to a D-gun. Love that we jumped on top of this with the Resbots right here. Love the Resbots in general, keeping this stuff alive. Also can use them to reclaim the trees while they're sort of idle here. It's one of the advantages of going for bots on this map. Despite it being a big open field, the Resbots certainly contribute a lot towards keeping everybody happy and healthy. There goes some of the powder blue Resbots, seeking the metal, trying to find a little morsel of metal to feast upon. Not bad. Are we gonna... Okay. Aprog, another commander, boldly steps forward, right past the grave of his fellow teammate. Very boldly steps forward right here. There are eventually going to be units waddling forward right now, but the defender's advantage is quite severe right here for the Orange Commander. So, for the very least, the time being, yeah, it's gonna be tricky for the blue team to make any kind of efficient aggression over here. But you know what? Those D-guns keep connecting, and we might eventually find our way towards the base back in this way. The Razorback has been handed out. Look at these commanders team working their way towards that beautiful Razorback right there. There we go. That's a nice cinematic shot, isn't it? Beautiful, beautiful shot of that Razorback coming out of the lab. Love to see it. Love that we're handing them out as well. Feels like the appropriate reaction, right? Hand them out to all the people who need them. Surprising that we're going to send it all the way across the map over here. I feel like sending it directly down this lane and then across in this direction would be probably the most efficient. Give the enemy the least opportunity to react. But then again, it's not like any of this has been scouted, right? Well, let's confirm that. Yeah, blue team, as far as they know, they have invested heavily in fighters. They have absolutely no idea the laser-bitten wrath that is about to unfurl its twin laser cannons directly into this crowd of pawns, obliterating them surely in a matter of seconds. Razorback, essentially the perfect unit for countering all of it. I mean, the Rocketeers go down, the Incisors go down. Medium tanks really the only thing out of the T1 era that are going to really contribute any sort of significant issue for the Razorback, and even then it's just a time issue. It just takes forever to kill them, but it's not like they're really going to beat a well-microed Razorback, not unless you have a significantly higher investment in medium tanks than you do in Razorbacks. The question here is, are we going T2? We are. We do have a T2 lab. We've gone for the fusion reactor, but not with taking down the T2 lab. That might be a little bit of a blunder here. Yeah, not going for the disconstruction, or the deconstruction, pardon me. Oh, there we go. That's the first moment that the Razorback is spotted. A harrowing moment, yeah. DeBoss putting it well. The blue team realizing in an instant that their fate has been sealed, at least on the left-hand side. All hands to an immediate retreat. There's no reason to keep pushing forward right here. There's no way to efficiently beat that unit, not without landing a miracle D-gun. Do we have any radar detection right here? We do. We have radar from this tower all the way over here on the right-hand side. It's important because it detects any commanders over here. Oh, wow, okay. We've handed off all the units. DeBoss handing off the, oh no, DeBoss with the killer D-gun right there. They lose the Razorback. Oh no. Unfortunate micro right there from the orange commander. Loses the Razorback. A killer D-gun right there from the cyan commander. That might have been when we handed over the commanders. There was more power available to the cyan commander. Beautiful, beautiful play right there. Like I said earlier, that's about the only way you're going to save yourself from total obliteration via the Razorback, and it's going to be with a couple of killer D-guns like that. Lovely, lovely play right there from the blue team. Absolutely saving themselves, buying themselves. Whoa, I'm not sure what that was. A little bit of a pause right there. Pause and play. Anyways, yeah, the blue team definitely buying themselves a couple more seconds on the clock, but is it going to be enough? Centurion's pawns, all the rest of it, marching forward right here, but that yellow Razorback is going to hit the floor. We probably should be handing this off to somebody else here. Maybe Cage could, or sorry, maybe Xeno could micro it, or somebody else. I guess Xeno's up in the air. We're handing out Marauders now. Slightly cheaper, more easy to produce. Razorback's obviously quite powerful. You can see them blasting apart this T1 army like it's nothing. But the Marauder definitely an excellent option, not only for their T3 firepower, but also because they're relatively fast, so getting around this extremely large map is going to be easy enough. Oh, nice D-gun right there from Ozlex. Does manage to carve through a whole bunch of those blitzes, but it will be for naught as that commander falls right there to the second Razorback out of the lab. Sharpshooters are en masse right here, and certainly the Razorback has to be careful. He's doing loops. He's doing tricks with it. There we go. Yeah, Razorback looking for that opportunity to engage right here. Sharpshooters wasting their shots. They'll go down in just about the blink of an eye, and the Razorback has made it into the economy right here of the blue commander. Is this GG? I mean, we're gonna need some serious team plays right now to pull a rabbit out of this hat. Yeah, we have aggression going across the map right now, but I don't think it's going to be enough. This Razorback is already tearing apart the wind turbines about as quickly as it can. Sharpshooter shot bounces off the hull of that Razorback. Oh no, it's a Legion commander. They don't have a D-gun. They have a puny little napalm missile. Not intended for the for going up against the T3 this quickly. Oh no, and he friendly fires his teammate as well. Beautiful, beautiful play right here with the Razorback. Already into the back line. We're going for the fusion reactor. A little bit of target prioritization issues happening on the yellow Razorback, but I think eventually it will be D-gunned, but at what cost? The entire blue production facility and all of the heart of the economy goes down. They realize it's over because more and more of them will be streaming across the map. The Marauders were already out and running, destroying whatever static defense they could find. A beautiful little play by the red team. Absolutely love watching a little bit of good old-fashioned teamwork coming out to win some games and beyond all reason. Thanks a ton for everybody who played in this one. GG to everybody, and I will see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.